welcome to the Bard from the Barn weekly review. It is Friday, the 22nd of May. As always, I am joined by Aaron Sidwell, one of the producers from Bard from the Barn. Hello. Well, I don't know about you, mate, but I have given up this week. As you can see, this situation is out of control. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. What is my life? I look like I've just been described as the before stage in 17 again with Zac Efron and Matthew Perry.
Or kind of like a Michael Cera impersonator. Like you've got a bit of that going on. I've gone for the basically I don't want any hair on the side of my head approach. And it's slowly turning into kind of like a Mohican again, which that's kind of a good thing. I'm quite happy about that. When can I ever have one? Look,
that's pretty
it's
cool.
a bit mad. I kind of look like I could be in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Do you know what I mean? Where it's just on top and there's like nothing at the side.
Yeah.
Oh God, can they open barbers now?
Smith.
I am, yeah. People have often compared me and my career to Will Smith.
Indeed. When's the mixtape dropping, Aaron? When is it?
Well, the new thing is I think I might start writing a rap for every one of my videos because, do you remember he went through that stage where he just used to write raps for his movies? Mm-hmm. Like he never did any other music except for when he needed a movie to come out. And I think the last one was like Hitch. Was the last one. So maybe I'll start doing that. I haven't done any for tonight's videos, however. And we've got some amazing people on today. We've got Abigail Matthews, who was Hotspur earlier on in the week. We have Max Hutchinson, and he's going to be talking to us all about his bottom, which I've heard is lovely.
Glorious.
Aidan Harkins, of course, a true Scot, bringing us the Scottish play. MRB. Henry V's MRB, my uncle. MRB, Matt Ray Brown, of course. We're doing this time. He's the king. He's King John. And then we'll be talking to director Jake Smith, who directed Gillian in A Comedy of Errors, which was absolutely fantastic. But first up, let's get Abigail on the show. Abigail, hi. Welcome to Bar from the Barn.
Hello, thank you for having me. Nice to see you.
We're over the moon to have you working with us on this. And actually, your video was directed by co-producer Hal Chambers, who also directed Henry V at the Barn. Now, audiences that saw Henry V at the Barn might know that we really brought the modern politics through in that play, but they may not know that the character that I played of Henry V is in Henry IV Part 1, which your character Hotspur was in, and is held up as this kind of direct comparison, as it were. And Henry IV really wants his son to be more like Hotspur. And so it's quite interesting to see Hotspur in that kind of Henry-esque world that we did, because it's just very Hal. And I just wanted to know, is that something that you and Hal discussed about bringing that side of him through, that drive and ambition through?
Absolutely, yeah. I think I saw Henry V and absolutely loved it. So we spoke about that and the stylistic choices within that, and bringing it obviously into a modern context. So yeah, definitely those qualities, the leadership qualities, the ambition, the audacity, and yeah, being quite spontaneous and impulsive. In comparison to Hal, I suppose we looked at the positive elements. Are we going to make it a heroic thing, and the way that he's exalted because of those qualities, or are we going to go with the villainous side of it and where it goes too far, and where that line is definitely crossed? And it's kind of really pushing those boundaries, yeah, in terms of how he deals with the betrayal from the people he's asking for support. Yeah, and how it affects then his own internal state. There's almost a little bit of kind of, not quite mania, but certainly some instability going on there. And I think Hal has to go through a massive arc as well in his journey to get to Henry V. So it was nice to maybe reflect that, as you say, in this portrayal. Yeah.
It's really interesting seeing the Hal Chambers cinematic universe of Shakespeare opening up to us. We're going to see every single play, but Hal Chambers,
Yeah, that version. Yeah.
I think the edit note that we got from for this one was it needs to look like an episode of Homeland.
Yeah, amazing. And I'm a top fan. I am absolutely gutted that it's not carrying on.
It's really funny how the tone of it can be totally Homeland, even though it's just like a camera in the corner of your room, and you were sort of walking around on the phone, and all the drama was there. It was really cool.
Well, and down to the amazing editing and direction and the underscore as well. Thank you, Harry. Amazing. Always top fan of Harry's underscoring and general sound design. So, yeah, it really, really helped that. And just having Hal's vision of my front room actually being a possibility, because I didn't think it would be. I was like, where on earth are we going to do this? My idea was the back gate.
Right.
No good.
No, it worked. And then Jeremy Cobb as well. My question is, like, how did seeing Jeremy being brought into this was so cool for me, because I can imagine you brought it up in a Dungeons and Dragons meeting or something like that.
Absolutely, yeah.
And what was it like working with Jeremy again, albeit in different locations?
Well, it was quite special because Jeremy and I met up after The Butterfly Lion finished, and we were the kind of first to reconnect after the show finished. We have all stayed in touch, which is really lovely. But we went to see Henry IV Part 1 and 2 at the Globe. Awesome. We came... I don't think we came together to Henry V. I don't think he could come. I can't remember now. But I obviously then saw Henry V as well. So, yeah, it was kind of being really inspired by watching those productions and having a shared experience with that, and me being inspired by Michelle Terry as well, big time. So, yes, the second I asked him, he was really on board with it. And with the interpretation of it not being a letter and me not repeating it, we didn't need that theatrical tool. It can be something that is digital and actually experienced, with him essentially doing a press conference or equivalent of,
I absolutely loved that, Leia. I saw the two parts that you saw as well at the Globe, and they were great. But I must say that I preferred your Hotspur to the absolutely insanely talented Michelle Terry.
My goodness, I can't. I'm not sure I can accept such an accolade.
Maybe it's the world. Maybe it was the world that had been set in. I just felt it really suits this kind of character, and it's interesting having done Henry V and kind of looking back at how you start that story in this way. Henry V is a very modern play, but some of the politics in the two Henry IV parts aren't necessarily as modern. But I thought that you really brought Hotspur to life in this modern way, and it was really fun to see. So I think we're going to go and check that video out now. So here is Abigail playing Hotspur.
Listen, he speaks on this now.
But for my own part, my lord, I could be well contented to be there in respect of the love I bear your house.
He could be contented? Why is he not then? In respect of the love he bears our house, he shows in this he loves his own barn better than he loves our house. Let me see some more.
The purpose you undertake is dangerous.
Why, that's certain. 'Tis dangerous to take a cold, to sleep, to drink, but I tell you, my lord fool, out of this nettle danger, we pluck this flower, safety.
The purpose you undertake is dangerous, the friends you have named uncertain, the time itself unsorted, and your whole plot too light for the counterpoise of so great an opposition.
Say you so? Say you so? I say unto you again, you are a shallow, cowardly hind, and you lie. What a lack brain is this? By the Lord, our plot is a good plot, as ever was laid. Our friends true and constant. A good plot, good friends and full of expectation. An excellent plot, very good friends. What a frosty, spirited rogue is this? Why, my Lord of York commends the plot and the general course of action. Sounds. And were I now by this rascal, I would brain him with his lady's fan. Is there not my father, my uncle and myself, Lord Edmund Mortimer, my Lord of York and Owen Glendower? Is there not besides the Douglas, Have I not all their letters to meet me in arms by the 9th of the next month? And are they not some of them set forward already? What a pagan rascal is this! An infidel! Ha! And you shall see now, in very sincerity of fear and cold heart, will he to the king, and lay open all our proceedings. I could divide myself and go to buffets for moving such a dish of skim milk with so honourable an action. Hang him. Let him tell the king. We are prepared. I will set forward tonight.
Max, my love, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you, Aaron Sidwell. It's so lovely to be here, and Mr. Ben Collins as well.
Your video was one of the more ridiculous things I think I've witnessed in my life. It was fantastically funny. But how on earth did you manage to film it like that in lockdown? Did you just kind of say to your wife, please leave me be, I'm just off to get drunk in the garden, but it is for work?
Yeah, something like that. What happened? Well, it was mainly practical because Charlie, our 1-year-old, well, the 18-month-old, was just being very noisy. And also, I suppose it's not that responsible to sort of just sit and drink and tell your son to be quiet. So they did actually. They went for a walk, and I said, I'm just going to have a couple of beers and film this in the garden. So I put the camera on, and I think our neighbours were a little bit more confused. They were like, why is he shouting to himself in the garden at a laptop?
Just repeatedly shouting scampy fries to nobody.
Yeah.
It's caught on Twitter.
You are?
Scampy fries, I think, is caught on Twitter. We've had a few fans of scampy fries. The back of your video.
Like a catchphrase.
Yeah, exactly. We also, obviously, we saw a bit of archive footage from the 39 Steps era in there, which I just thought was amazing. I'm wondering, we're seeing Johnny Bourne, we're seeing Ben Evans in Stonies, and then we're zipping back to the present, and it's the same moustache. That was creeping back in a little bit. Was that for continuity, or did you just fancy it?
It was continuity, because I'm such a professional, Ben, as you know, that I thought I can't have people noticing the differences.
In this world, Bottom has a moustache.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what happened. And I thought, we've got plenty of time, and we know our neighbours a little bit, so they'll be kind enough not to say, oh, why have you got that silly moustache on your face? So, yeah, I grew it back specially.
Oh, we just lost you for a second, Max.
I'm surprised you could see it, Aaron. You spent months saying that you couldn't see my moustache, even when it was at full length.
We've just lost
it. Was
Max. There we go.
I did tell my fiance, who is in 39 Steps with Max, that his moustache was not distinguishable from the back of the barn stalls. So, but up close on camera, I really felt like I
you were meeting the moustache for the first time.
The gloriousness of your Freddie Mercury lip for a while there.
Okay, yeah, no, thank you. I think. Yeah, I mean, I didn't even have to paint it in this time. I was painting it in extra strong after Aaron came to see the show.
Man,
I only want what's best for you, and particularly in your performances. I love this video. Thank you so much for doing it. And we are going to go and check out Max's Bottom right this minute.
Mark, you going for a bevy after work? Am I? Does a bear... Hello, Anne. It's Nick Bottom here from Jan and Fred. How are you doing? Bottoms up. Yeah, I'll have a lager. And scampi fries. That was always his downfall, wasn't it? Scampy Fry! See, James? I told you, he could jump higher than any man I've ever seen. Scampy Fry! But everyone, and we're sharp, I'm getting a Uber, we're going club.
I have had a most rare vision.
Hey ho!
I've had a dream. Past the wit of man to say what dream it was. Man is but an ass if you go about to expound this dream. Methought I was. There is no man can tell what. Methought I was, and methought I had. But man is but a patched fool if you offer to say what methought I had. The eye of man hath not heard, the ear of man hath not seen, man's hand is not able to taste, his tongue to conceive, nor his heart to report what my dream was. I will get Peter Quince to write a ballad of this dream. It shall be called Bottom's Dream, for it hath no bottom. And I will sing it in the latter end of a play before the Duke.
We are here with Aidan Harkins, who most recently was at the Barn in The Importance of Being Earnest and over at the Tobarn Theatre in London. Aidan, this video is absolute genius. It just came through, and I watched it all the way through, and I was just thinking the tone, the mood, the camera angles, the story, the use of the razor. It's all brilliant. Can you tell us a little bit, first of all, how has lockdown been treating you, and maybe will have influenced this video a little bit? And what was it like developing it with Jess Daniels?
Yeah, no bother at all. So, the idea really came about because of my personal circumstances. So I'm up in Scotland right now. I've moved from London back to my family home for the first time in 7 years. So it's different lifestyle up here. It's a lot more rural. Luckily, we've got internet connection, and I've got phone signal, which is fine, but I know friends up here that don't.
You cut out. Sorry, Aidan, you cut out.
Oh, no!
As you were saying phone signal.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, sorry. So you're in Scotland and you got phone signal. Go ahead.
Yeah, do you want me to just go from there?
We'll carry on.
Yeah, no worries. I've got phone signal. Yes, well, kind of. I'm lucky, but I know a few people up here who aren't so lucky. So really me and Jess started talking about that. We're so reliant right now on everything virtual and the internet, and we were thinking, what about those people that aren't? What about those people who perhaps are of a different generation, who don't know how to work a computer, don't really know how to, work Zoom or FaceTime or things like that, and what that does to them and what that does to their mental health. That was a big thing, mental health. Right now, the government I know have been advised to start putting a lot more focus on mental health as a direct result of this lockdown and coronavirus. So yeah, that's really what we started to explore.
And the visual style as well. It was a real short film, you know.
Yeah, so we wanted to film it like kind of like Blair Witch Project-esque. So originally we started thinking of like a live like vlog or something. As almost Macbeth, the character, using himself as his only form of company and companionship, so that he was able to effectively talk to someone. So that's why we wanted to use the mirrors. That's why we wanted to use, looking directly into the camera. That was the hardest thing, actually, because I admittedly, I'm not you, Ben. I am a novice. I'm a novice in terms of filming and how to get correct angles and things. So that was the hardest thing, but it was a really, really good challenge and something that's actually made me think about doing more of. I'm like enjoyed that filmmaking side. So
natural, man.
Yeah, it was quite an interesting thing. And it was Jess's idea as well, and her collaboration was incredible. She was just so open to so many ideas and had so many thoughts and questions that, it was really a fantastic experience. So yeah.
I love this play. I think it's a tricky one though when you're dealing with the situation that we're in, because we've actually seen with a lot of these, some of these plays they just kind of lend themselves to whatever setting you put this in. But I did this play last year, and one of the things that I found quite overwhelming with it at times was the real magic and the prophecy-esque kind of stuff that's, and the witches that are really kind of pushing it through the whole time. But there's also in there is just this incredible story about two human beings who are really crippled with trauma. Absolutely, like mental health is a huge thing in this play, because these are two people that have lost a child and not dealt with it at all. And so when it came to this piece, did you kind of in your head, because there is like you said, the Blair Witch element, there is still a bit of magic and kind of mystery in there, but did you guys really hone in for the more human psychology?
Yeah, so originally when we first started in our first rehearsal, we read through the piece as is, read through the text as is, and discussed kind of its original context and then our context, how we wanted it to go. And yeah, there is a lot of humanity within Macbeth. Like we can all great characters, we can see the humanity inside them and we can empathize with them in a certain way, I think. So by putting it into our context, I suppose we found a lot more of the human side of Macbeth. We wanted to really see the arc of his trauma and the arc of his isolation and what that was doing to him. So we were thinking of it in a kind of day by day. So what this would be like, would this be day 7? Would this be day 12? Would this be day 15? And what that really did each day and how we arced that journey. Eventually leading to the final section, which we wanted to be as calm as possible. So we discussed, his torment building and building to a state of calm. So that was quite interesting. Yeah, I suppose it was more to do with mental health. Like that was my angle on it. Like men's mental health, especially, like is a big focus right now, and is a growing focus in our industry. And it was just really focusing on that brought out Macbeth's human side, I suppose. And also myself being a younger actor, that was quite an interesting kind of take on Macbeth, because usually we see Macbeth played by older, slightly larger framed, more built character, like people and actors, which I am not. So it was quite interesting to kind of strip all of that stereotype, was that the right word? Or strip all of that kind of typical what you think of when you think of Macbeth, like strip all that away. Yeah, I think it brought out his human side a bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. And It is a fascinating play, and particularly the relationship between the husband and wife is always the thing that I think has always grabbed me the most. And absolutely, you're right. Like, you know, he's thought of as this big burly warrior, and so, you know, it's great to see him in this different way. So we're going to check out the video now. This is Aidan playing Macbeth.
Is this a dagger? What I see before me? The handle toward my hand. Come. Let me clutch thee. I have thee not, and yet I see thee still. Art thou not, fatal vision, sensible to feeling as to sight? Or art thou but a dagger of the mind? A false creation, proceeding from the heat oppressed brain. I see thee yet, in form as palpable as this, which now I draw. Thou marshallest me the way that I was going. And such an instrument I was to use. Mine eyes are made to the fools of the other senses. Or else, worth all the rest. I see thee still, and on thy blade and budgeon, gouts of blood, which was not so before. There's no such thing. It is the bloody business which informs us to mine eyes. Now, o'er the one half world, nature seems dead, and wicked dreams abuse the curtain sleep. Witchcraft celebrates pale Hecate's offerings, and withered murder, alarmed by his sentinel, the wolf whose howls his watch, thus with his stealthy pace, with Tarquin's ravishing strides towards his design moves, like a ghost. Thou sure and firm set earth, hear not my step. Which way they walk, for fear thy very stones prate of my whereabout, and take the present horror from the time which now sits with it. Was I threat? He lived. Words to the heat of deeds, to cold breath given.
MRB, welcome to the show, my friend. How are you?
Yeah, very good, thanks. It's lovely to see you guys. It's good
It
to
seems
be here.
like the audiences at the barn are just destined to see me and you in suits playing political characters until the end of time. As obviously you were my uncle Exeter in Henry V. However, now you yourself are the king. So can you tell us a little bit about your monologue and kind of the character and what's going on in it?
Oh yeah, this one's from King John, which is one of the plays that, for some bizarre reason, doesn't get done very often. When I was chatting when we chose it with the director Rob Faulknell, about it, and he said, "Yeah, I think I've seen it twice and not directed it." And I said, "Yeah, I know. I saw it once at the Barbican in the Pit Theatre in like 2002, and that's it. It's such a rare piece, but there are some great speeches in there. But it's very political and all about the machinations that go on behind the scenes. Generally, John wanting to get himself a better deal, therefore he strikes a bargain with France, which everybody hates, and this is only to try and shore up his position on the throne. And then he decides, oh, hang on a minute, young Prince Arthur has got rights of succession to the throne. I better bump him off. So,
as a lot of political leaders like to do, they really like to sort of move people aside and supplant people as they go, particularly in Shakespeare's plays. As think about Julius Caesar, it's rife for it.
Yeah, totally.
Did you know, Matt, that today is exactly 1 year since we were all together signal dueing in Henry V? It must be really strange, or it must be, I don't know, what does it feel like revisiting this world of modern Shakespeare a year in advance?
God, a year, so fast. That's ridiculous. Yeah. It's great. The first Zoom rehearsal I had, I said to Rob, it's so nice to be rehearsing again, even through this weird medium where you're not live in a room with lots of other actors sharing ideas and feeding off the energy, but just to work on that text and try and find a way to slide it into a modern context has been great. And I'm lucky as well to be working on duologue from Henry IV Part 1, and that's wicked as well, because as it's a duologue, you've got two actors and a director, so there is now this three-way conversation.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's lovely to have this in these weird times.
Absolutely. Well, we can't wait to see what you have coming up in the future of Bard from the Barn. But for now, let's see Matt Ray Brown doing a monologue from King John.
Good friend, thou hast no cause to say so yet, but thou shalt have. Creep time ne'er so slow, yet it shall come for me to do thee good. I had a thing to say, but let it go. The sun is in the heaven, and the proud day, attended with the pleasures of the world, is all too wanton, and too full of gauds to give me audience. If the midnight bell did with his iron tongue and brazen mouth sound on into the drowsy race of night, if this same were a churchyard where we stand, and thou, possessed with 1,000 wrongs, or if that surly spirit, melancholy, had baked thy blood, and made it heavy, thick, which else runs tickling up and down the veins, making that idiot laughter keep men's eyes, and strain their cheeks to idle merriment, a passion hateful to my purposes, or if that thou couldst see me without eyes, hear me without thine ears, and make reply without a tongue, using conceit alone, without eyes, ears, and harmful sound of words, then, in despite of broad-eyed watchful day, I would into thy bosom pour my thoughts. But I will not. Yet I love thee well, and by my troth I think thou lovest me well.
Okay, so we're here with Jake Smith, the director of Gillian McCafferty's video for Friday. Jake, it's so good to speak to you finally. We've been working on Bard for a few weeks now, and this is the first proper interview. So you have never worked at the barn. You've never, I don't think you've even visited. You're up in the northeast, up in the glorious northeast.
Yeah.
So how is lockdown life for you up there, and what is it like? What attracted you to this project in particular?
Well, I'd heard about the barn because my auntie and uncle live in Cheltenham, so I was aware of like the Cotswolds and stuff, and I did want to give it a visit at some point. I've been quite fortunate that I got back to the Northeast, really, because I was working on Back to the Future, the musical in Manchester, and just before lockdown, managed to get back home, really. So life's been pretty good. I'm going to say I've quite enjoyed it, actually. You know, I know it's a difficult time for many, but I think it's a good time to reflect and also be with your family. And then when Bard from the Barn came along, it was really nice to sort of engage in something creatively, because I'd sort of exhausted everything DIY in the house. So it was nice to sort of sit down and, you know, do the day job again, even, you know, through Zoom and working with actors that I'd never met before. It just felt like a really good, fun thing to do.
Absolutely. Well, we've seen two of your videos already. So you did Johnny Bourne's video where he was stealing everyone's food, and then we saw Bronte's last week. Both have gone down an absolute storm, so we cannot wait to see your final one on the Monologue series, and then obviously you're doing two for us in the Duologue series as well, which is incredible. How have you found it kind of working across? Because one of the things I found was when we first spoke about this is, you know, you did come in with quite a good basis of kind of going, well, I know these plays, but how have you found it working with so many different actors on so many different things? Because usually, you know, you'll be working with 10, 15 actors, maybe as a director in a big company, but you're all working on the same project. Whereas now you're working on loads of kind of different ones. How's that been?
It's been, you know, it's been quite nice in a way, in the way that you can then manage the project through the lockdown, and also like gaining everyone's experience, because all 4 of my solo videos have all got really different isolation lockdown experiences themselves. So, for instance, some have been able to elaborate in having people help them in lockdown with filming, and then some have been totally isolated on their own. So it's kind of like it's a lot of laughter, really, in trying to think how we can shoot certain shots or how we can achieve certain things with observing lockdown. But everyone's sort of been really embracing, and in a way, I think early days, it was really nice to just speak to somebody else, you know, somebody completely impartial to you, and, you know, we'd be able to have a chat and a bit of fun while we were doing the work as well.
Jake, thank you so much for coming on to the show. Right, I believe we're about to go into Gillian's monologue as Adriana from Comedy of Errors.
Absolutely, but before we leave you tonight, we just want to remind you that we will be back next Friday at 9 p.m. But do check out some of the other stuff that is on the Barn Theatre's page at the moment. Personally, I am doing Disco Fitness. It's killing me, but in a good way. Every single weekday that is on. And this Saturday night, so tomorrow night, we have an incredible show. We have the music of Finn Anderson, brought to you by Olivier Award winner Matt Henry. We have Strictly winner Joanne Clifton, and as well as X Factor finalist and a good pal of mine, Nikki Evans, who is mad but incredibly wonderful. She will be singing on that as well. It's going to be an incredible evening, so do tune into that at 7:30. And of course, we are on every single weekday at 5 p.m. And we will be back at 9 p.m. next week. But before we go, have an amazing week, and we will leave you now with Gillian McCafferty.
Look strange and frown. Some of that mistress hath thy sweet aspects. I am not Adriana, nor am I. The time was once when thou unerged wouldst vow that never words were music to thine ears, that never object pleasing to thine eye, that never touch well welcome to thy hand, that never meat sweet savoured in thy taste, unless I spake or looked or touched or carved to thee. How comes it now, my husband? How comes it now that thou art then estranged from thyself? Thyself, I call it, being strange to me. That undividable, incorporate, and better than thy dear self's better part. Oh, do not tear thyself away from me. For lo, my love, as easy mayst thou fall, a drop of water in the breaking gulf, and take unmingled thence that drop again, without addition or diminishing, as take me from myself and not me too. How dearly would it touch thee to the quick, shouldst thou but hear that I were licentious, and that this body consecrate to thee by ruffian lust should be contaminate? Wouldst thou not spit at me and spurn at me, and hurl the name of husband in my face, and tear the stained skin off my harlot brow, and from my false hand cut the wedding ring and break it with a deep divorcing vow? I know thou canst, and therefore see thou do it. I am possessed with an adulterate blot. My blood is mixed with the crime of lust, for if we two be one, and thou play false, I do digest the poison of thy flesh, being strumpeted by thy contagion. Keep then fair league and truce with thy true bed. I live disdained, thou undishonoured.
In March 2018, we opened our doors to the public with a vision not just to create challenging professional theatre, but to use this as a platform to inspire and bring communities together. Theatre and culture build identity. With theatre and culture in our local life, the community landscape is more vibrant. Local life is enriched. We believe that the benefits of theatre should be available for everyone. Our Theatre for All programme has removed financial barriers, giving disadvantaged people access to the theatre free of charge.
So we were told that we'd come here and have a Christmas meal and then go and watch A Christmas Carol.
Our aim is to make live professional theatre available to everyone and use that experience for positive change. Theatre can be transformational in young lives. Our academy is now in its 4th year, and we continue to build on our vision of bringing the best performing arts tuition to the heart of the Cotswolds. We work hard to make our academy as inclusive and as accessible as possible. Discounts apply for parents with more than one child. Our bursaries help support talented children from less affluent backgrounds. The Academy creates a fun and challenging environment where children can build friendships and develop key skills not just for theatre, but for life. We are also able to provide real opportunities for students who wish to pursue careers in the arts.
My name is Harry Apps. I am currently playing Marius in Les Miserables in the West End.
Barn outreach and learning programs engage with thousands of people. Our free workshops support the drama curriculum in local schools. Singing and musical theatre workshops in community groups and care homes have helped address issues of isolation. Our Song for Cirencester project in aid of mental health charities brought our community together in an unprecedented way. We've collaborated with many charities in the region, including the Churn Project, to support individuals dealing with the barriers to finding work.
Since working with you, Anne, my life's changed. It's given me some purpose, given me an interest, some confidence I was lacking prior to all this.
The Barn Theatre played a pivotal role in the town's 2018 World War I centenary celebrations. Who could forget our record-breaking Human Poppy? Our live streaming work on the annual Advent Festival helped thousands engage and take part in Cirencester's Christmas festivities. In these times of uncertainty, we strive to keep the community together. The theatre may be temporarily closed, but our commitment to you goes on. Even now, our amazing costume department are helping the NHS by making scrubs for frontline workers. We've used our technology to build a free live streaming service that provides much needed community news and entertainment for all the family, broadcasting every day to keep us all connected. We are not just a theatre. We are the Barn.